Hello and welcome to the Writecome.com podcast, where we help you to make money from your words. Each episode will be sharing tips, tricks, and strategies you can use to make more money from your writing, publishing, and marketing to your fans and audience. Let's get started with your host, Barry J. McDonald.
Hi, this is Barry here, and you are very, very welcome to today's podcast episode from Writecome.com. And today's podcast episode is entitled Stop Haggling with Yourself. Now, at the moment, I'm just going back through an old book. I had forgot I'd even bought it. It had been so long ago. I was just going through the Kindle deals the other day on the Kindle, and an old book I had bought by Hal Elrod. Now, Hal Elrod, you probably know him from writing The Morning Miracle, where he was talking about the benefits of waking up early and the kind of routine you should have in the morning to kind of set yourself up for the day. But he also wrote another book called The Miracle Equation, and I'd forgotten I'd actually bought a copy of it. I'd just seen it in the deals, and the Kindle device told me I'd already purchased it, and I just gone back into it there a few moments ago. I was just reading through it, and it's kind of all coming back to me. A lot of the advice I probably didn't take on at the time, as we most of us do probably, who read a lot of kind of self-help books and things like that. When we're reading the book, we're all motivated, we're all fired up. And then probably about 10 minutes later, when we put the book away, we forget everything we learned in it. And, then it's off to buy the next course or buy the next book or whatever. And then we follow the advice in that for another 10 minutes and then we forget about it. But anyway, I was just going through his book and he brought up an important point, and the more I look back at this past couple of weeks and months, I have kind of let myself down for this reason. And he was on about when you're faced with a decision on whether you should be limited or whether you should be limitless. Now, what he meant by that was, if you're making a decision where you are looking on past events or past experience to kind of make the right decision, he would say that is your limited choice, because you're doing things that you've done before. You're not really growing. You're just kind of replaying the same thing over and over again. You're going to get the same results if you keep taking the same actions. But if you kind of go for the unlimited choice, in that, the thing that you're about to do, if it's going to make you feel uncomfortable, if it's something you've never done before, if you have to stretch yourself or you just don't think you're ever going to achieve it, he would say that is your kind of unlimited potential. And a lot of us should probably lean more into that. Now, in the book, he was just, as I said, talking about when you're faced with a decision of whether you should be limited, kind of going on your past experience, or kind of going unlimited, where you are leaning into your new potential. He said you should always kind of go with the unlimited potential. So when you're faced with these choices, the easy choice is to stay as you are. The harder choice is to do something different or to get out of your comfort zone. And kind of when I was reading that, I was just thinking to myself, a lot of us will kind of haggle with ourselves, when it comes to maybe exercising, when it comes to maybe picking up a chocolate bar or whatever, or maybe doing something we've never done before, maybe creating a podcast, or maybe creating some videos for TikTok, or maybe starting writing a new book or whatever. It's amazing the conversation we have in our head. When we say to ourselves, well, I'm going to create a podcast. I'm going to record my first podcast episode today. And nearly as soon as we kind of make that decision, you're kind of met with all this kind of conversation, all these little voices in your head saying, well, is today the right day to do it? You can always do it tomorrow. It's no big deal. Or, something, yeah, well, you really think you can create a podcast episode? Is anybody going to be interested in listening to anything that you have to say? And, go over to iTunes now and look at all the thousands of podcasts. Do you really think that you are going to really kind of, do anything new that hasn't been talked about before? And you're going to be the equivalent of probably a fart in a hurricane or tornado. Nobody is going to pay any attention to you. Your podcast is going to go there and nobody is ever going to find it. Nobody's going to give you 5 or 10 minutes of their day to listen to it. And we're all met with that kind of conversation, and in our head we're thinking to ourselves, will I do the podcast or won't I do the podcast? And then we kind of get into this haggling game of yes, no. Well, if I do this, well, then this is probably going to happen. Or if I put it off tomorrow, well, then it'll be okay. Or, and the more you think about it, we probably make a lot of our worst decisions by haggling with ourselves. And when you do get into one of those haggling, arguments in your head, you always go for the easier option. You always go with the kind of safer path. You kind of probably say to yourself, well, I'll do the podcast tomorrow, or maybe podcasting isn't for me. Maybe I'll do TikTok videos. And then you know in your heart, when it comes to decision on TikTok videos, you're probably going to haggle with yourself over that too, and you'll probably also go for the easier option. So that is what I'm trying to maybe, put into more action myself, and maybe this advice maybe might work for you too, is that if we are faced with a choice, instead of maybe going for the easier option, instead of going for the limited choice, maybe, as Hal says, maybe it's time for us to lean into our unlimited potential, because you never know, you could be a fantastic podcaster, you could be fantastic on TikTok, but right now, because you've never ever done it before, you're saying to yourself, well, I'm not good enough to do that. So instead of us haggling with ourselves, because at the end of the day, it's really crazy that we kind of put up a case on both sides where, we are both the defence and the prosecution arguing out this case. Should I do it or shouldn't I do it? So maybe we should lean more into our unlimited potential and actually do stuff that gets us out of our comfort zone, is difficult, is probably going to take us a while to master, but is going to probably move us from where we are to where we would like to be. So, as I said, I think it's something I need to pay more attention to when it comes to my decisions, and maybe it might work for you too. So let's just stop haggling with ourselves and let's just go for the harder option. So as always, if you'd like to find out more about Writecom, if you want to head over to writecom.com, that's WRITECOME.com. And if you head over to the homepage right now, we have a great blueprint which is going to show pardon me, I always goof this up. I goofed it up yesterday as well. This blueprint is going to show you how to become an online celebrity. So, with that out of the way, if you are looking to become an online celebrity, because I'm going to show you how to put more content out there and get your name in front of a larger audience, if you do want to become an online celebrity, head over to Writecom. You'll find the opt-in page there. Put your email details in and I will send that blueprint directly on to you. So as always, have a lovely day. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like more from the Writecom.com podcast, be sure to subscribe now for more tips, tricks, and ideas you can use to make more money from your words. See you in the next episode.